Hello, faith-based professional. This is Diamond Brown of DLB Coaching Solutions, and welcome to the resume writing portion of the Career Transition Blueprint course. We are in lesson 4, and here we have 4 main topics. We want to go over the documents that you're going to need to boost your resume, giving it the competitive advantage it needs. We're going to go over our 7-step process, which breaks down a very daunting task of updating your resume into 7 small workable steps. And our last topic is to go over suggested next steps in this process. So before you boost, you want to gather the right documents. Included within this portion of the course is a 7-day resume boost printable. And within that printable, I list all of the documents that you would need to boost your resume. One document in particular I wanted to drive home is the job description. So of course you want to make sure you have your current job description and the job descriptions for your previous jobs. But you also want to grab a few job descriptions for the job title and industry in which you would like to seek employment. And there you want to deconstruct at least 3 of those job descriptions. And what you want to do is look at the summary of that job description and the first 3 bullets of that job description. And that will tell you what is most important to the job. So if you grab 3 of those job descriptions, same title within the same industry, and look at the summary and the first 3 bullets, that will give you a very good idea of what is most important within that industry for that job title. And that will be very, very key for you as you complete this process. So the very first stop in this process is not writing, it's with self-reflection. You want to take some time out to select a destination for this process. So the primary goal for self-reflection is to select a destination, i.e. a job title. And how you do that is first by praying, having some quiet time to reflect, listen, hear, and really ask our Heavenly Father, what's next for you? What's the next step? Don't just run into the process and start writing and before you really take this time out to reflect and really figure out what's the next step for you. And one really cool way of asking yourself some value-based questions is by Richard Bowles. He goes over the flower exercise activity, and within that activity you ask yourself 7 questions about yourself and what you would like to do in your next job. So the first question you ask yourself is about you and people. You want to ask yourself about the types of people that you would like to work with and the type of people you would like to help. The next question in the flower-based activity is you and your workplace. You want to ask yourself questions about where you want to work, the type of working conditions. Is it indoors? Is it outdoors? Do you want to work for a small organization, a startup, a large organization? Ask yourself these questions to really help you determine what's next for you. The next step in the value-based flower exercise is you and your skills. What can you do? What would you like to do in your next job? What are your transferable skills? Can you use them to start a new career? Sit down and really ask yourself these questions during this time. The next step in the process is you and your purpose in life. What are your goals? Who are you? What matters to you? What is your mission and your purpose? Sit down during this self-reflection time. You may be in a current career field that you enjoy, but your life's passion is to do something totally different. You want to ask yourself, is now the time to pursue that dream? The next step in the flower exercise process is to ask yourself about you and your knowledge that you already have. What do you already know well? Do you need to get more education? Should you look into getting certifications? What do you already have and what can you hit the ground running at performing within a workplace? Your next step is to reflect on you and your salary and responsibility. What salary would you need to take care of your financial needs for your family? That will be critical within your next step, as well as your level of responsibility. Are you an analyst or specialist and now looking to take on a leadership role? Or are you a leader in a leadership role looking to be an individual contributor? Take this time to really reflect on what matters to you in your life in this current time. And the next thing is you and geography, your current surroundings. Do you want to move abroad? Do you want to stay in the current location where you're living? Does your job allow you to move to other places, to travel while you're at work? Ask yourself about you and your geography, either your day-to-day where you like to live, or does the job require you to travel and would you like to take on a position of such? This is just one version of value-based question exercise. But really, the objective here is for you to sit down and reflect and really ask yourself some hard questions about your next step. So the next step in this process is for you to complete your contact section. And the primary goal here is for you just is to get connected. You want to include your name, so just your first and your last name. There are people of color who hesitate with putting their first name. And for those of you who have the hesitation, you may want to add a nickname in parentheses there, or a name that you use that's more common as your first name. Um, Also, for your address, I recommend you just put your city and state. If you decide to put your street name, that it's okay, but not your full address. It's just a security measure during this time to not put your entire address on your resume. And then your phone number, your email, and then your social media pages. And with this, I'm just saying to use wisdom and to be cautious. If you put your LinkedIn page, which is very common, make sure that it reflects your personal brand. Also with your email, make sure that this email is very professional and would not cause the recruiter to hesitate or pause before reaching out to you. Professional and monitored. So again, with any social media pages, make sure you're sanitizing those pages. If you have music on your phone, make sure that music is appropriate. Make sure that your voicemail is also appropriate so any recruiter or hiring manager calling you can hear that you're a professional person when they reach out to you. You also want to make sure that everything that has to do with your contact information is spelled correctly. No one can reach out to you if your phone number is incorrect. So be cautious, take your time during this section. This really is the most important part of your resume because you need to be able to be contacted. And without this section, without this information being professional, without it being correct, you will never, ever be able to sit in front of the prospective employer looking to hire you. The next part of the 7-step process is the summary section. And your primary goal here is to impress the recruiter. I hear recruiters having 2-second scans up to 15-second scans. They have a large job to do, and that summary section should really grab their attention. And it should be a career snapshot of your work experience. So you want to have your years of experience listed, your core and occupational competencies, specialties, areas of expertise, any systems, and other industry related information should also go within your career snapshot. The next thing that's critical is your job title and objective. So you want to make sure the job title, that specific job title that the recruiter is looking to hire, is somewhere within your summary section. And you also want to have a boosting objective, something that really speaks to who you are and the solutions that you're able to solve once you're on board within this new company. The next section, which may take you some time to complete, is the experience section. And here you want to tell a story. Now, for someone like me, I started my career as an HR assistant, and it's really easy to see the trajectory of my career. I started as HR assistant, HR generalist, senior HR generalist, senior HR advisor. So you can see the story that takes place there. So make sure that within your resume that just chronologically you're telling a very succinct story and being mindful of any gaps of employment. The other way you tell a story is with the situation, task, action, and response format. Some other ways of using that is the CAR format, which just helps you to tell a story. So the first way that you do this is with the company information. So you talk about the company, you list something noteworthy about the company and industry driven. Now, I particularly like to use the mission statement. So for all of my previous employers, I go to their mission statement and I type the name of the company and talk a little bit about the company's mission. Now, for you, depending on the job that you're applying to, use your judgment. The mission statement may not speak directly to the job that you're looking to obtain. So you may want to look within the press releases and other portions of the About Us section to find something noteworthy and industry driven that will hook the recruiter or hiring manager looking at your resume. You also tell the story with your relevant career achievements. So again, you're telling that short and concise story, and you include a short responsibility statement in the heading of the experience section. So let me just be more succinct. So you start off your experience section first with telling one sentence about the company. The next sentence should be a short and concise responsibility or challenge statement about your role or challenge within that organization. And then you want to follow that up with 3 or 4 bullets of your career achievements. And you want to list these in order of importance and be ready to sell these during the in-person interview. Next up is education. And your primary goal here is to showcase your educational pursuits. You want to always include your degrees. Never leave them out, regardless of how long that you have obtained them. You never know if there is someone who has attended your same university that's going to be looking over at your resume. Now, one thing that you can leave out is the year that you've graduated. This information may need to be shared later on within the process, but you do not have to include this information. You also do not have to include your GPA if your GPA is not over a 3.5. One other thing to include within the education section is courses. If you have courses that speak to the job that you're looking to obtain that are boosting your resume in some form or fashion, include courses um, from your university, include courses from your job, include courses that you took within your own just personal development, include courses that will boost your resume and give you an increase in competitive advantage. Now, you've listed all of the more required sections of your resume, and now you want to just add what is missing. So, in this other sections of your resume, if you still have white space, you want to sell what is missing. So, think about what is value boosting. So, do you need to add a training section and add your trainings that would add value to your resume? Do you need to add your memberships, any awards, speaking engagements, publications, or hobbies? Anything that you think that is missing, be sure to add these additional sections to your resume. And if you want to go above and beyond, especially if you're someone applying for senior level positions, go ahead and provide success and strategic documents showing examples of your work. When you get the in-person interview, these documents are great conversation starters during the in-person interview. And next are just final checks. So after you finished your resume, your goal now is to identify and address any errors. You want to review it very closely for white space, making sure it's easy on the eyes and easy to read. You want to go over spelling. Make sure you do spell check. You can run it through online software like Grammarly to check for grammatical errors. Look at the fonts, the size, and colors. A lot of times, if you're cutting and pasting from other places, um, you may have some differences in fonts and size and colors. So do not skip this step. Your next step is to develop a plan. You want to first have your resume reviewed by a second pair of eyes. So you want to either have a trusted advisor, maybe an HR professional at your job, or a friend who you know who's very particular about details, look it over again. Or you may want to hire a resume writer. You can consider us at DOB Coaching Solutions as a second pair of eyes in this process. And then you want to begin to search for new jobs and begin networking. And the key thing here with an active job search and networking campaign is to not go at it alone. Let as many people as you know, a minimum of 8 people know that you're out there, you're looking for work. You'll be surprised about what that influence, that realm of influence can do for your job search. Okay, now, there's a number of different sections within this course, within this portion of the course. So we have concluded the resume portion. I hope that you enjoyed. Be sure to download the printable that accompanies this portion of the course and get to work updating your resume.